as you pass by. And they'd have a message in this veil of toil and sin. Your head grows bald, but not your chin. Bermashave. Yes, they were the Bermashave signs. And I felt it necessary to sing out their message each time we passed them by. Are your whiskers, when you wake, tougher than a two-bit steak? Bermashave. Bermashave signs first appeared on the road between Minneapolis and Albert Lea, Minnesota in 1936. By the time I started to see them in the later 40s, they had spread throughout the nation, boosting the sales of Bermashave brushless shave cream wherever they went. Bermashave signs often had something to do with the fact that a woman would like a man better if he shaved, or if he shaved more completely, as you would expect to do with Bermashave brushless shave cream. But if you didn't use the product, well, you were in trouble. He had the ring. He had the flat. She felt his chin. And that was that. However, a change in grooming could make all the difference. His cheek was smooth and cool as ice, and oh Louise, he smelled so nice. Bermashave. Some sequences of signs practically guaranteed success. Use our cream, and we betcha. The girls won't wait. They'll come and get ya. And if your romance were a little rocky, why perhaps Bermashave could make the difference. Because Dinah doesn't treat him right. But if he'd shave, dynamite. There were also some public interest signs for drivers, such as, hardly a man is now alive who passes on curbs at 75. And one of my favorites, at schoolhouses, take it slow. Let the little shavers grow. However, the most infamous Bermashave sign was probably the one that appeared in 1936. It read, "Free, free, a trip to Mars for 900 empty jars." Bermashave. All went well at the Bermashave headquarters for a couple of weeks, and then they received a letter. The letter was from Arliss French, whose nickname was Frenchy, and who was manager of the Red Owl grocery store in Appleton, Wisconsin. He wanted to know where to send the jars. Alan wrote back, saying, "If a trip to Mars you earn, remember, friend, there's no return." But this did not deter Frenchy. He wrote back, and he said, "Let's not quibble, let's not fret, marshal your forces, I'm all set." Bermashave. To which Alan Odell replied, "Our rockets are ready, we ain't splitting hairs, just send us the jars and arrange your affairs." Bermashave. But the Bermashave people were kind of worried about this situation, so they sent a representative up to Appleton, Wisconsin to look up the Red Owl grocery store. And when he got there, he found that there were huge reproductions of the Bermashave signs plastered on front windows. And there were ads appearing in the weekly newspaper, the Appleton Apple, about touting the trip to Mars. When the representative went into the store, he found that each time a jar of Bermashave brushless shave cream was sold, the contents were scooped out into an ice cream cup. And the jar was added to a fast-growing pile in the center of the store. Now they were really worried. Somebody suggested that they should send Frenchy and his wife to Chicago, where they could tour the candy plant that made the Mars bars. But somehow that did not seem to be adequate. They were saved by a fellow from Red Owl Grocery, who knew that there was a town in France named Mars. It was spelled in a funny French way, but it was pronounced Mars. he suggested Red All would pay half the cost and Bermashave paid the other half of sending Frenchy and his wife to Mars. And it was agreed, and they went, and they had a grand time, and the people of Mars threw a 3-day party for them. And everybody had a terrific time, and it got in the newspapers, of course. The publicity was priceless. But that was probably the high point of the Bermashave experience. Because after the Second World War, people began driving faster and on highways that didn't permit signs. And a lot of people started using electric razors. So the sales of Bermashave brushless shave cream were flat as time passed, while the economy was booming. Bad situation. The directors of the company thought it was something that they had done, so they lowered their salaries, thus showing that they were not qualified to operate the modern corporation, which would have borrowed money at this time to give bonuses. Well, Bermashave struggled along for another few years, and then in 1963 they were bought out by Philip Morris, and all the signs came down. And this, in spite of the fact that they still had some good signs. We don't know how to split an atom, but as for whiskers, let us at 'em, Bermashave. That's the end of the Bermashave story.